After school ended, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and the reality of the world hit me right in the face. I ended up working in warehouses, stacking parcels, in trailers, mowing lawns, blowing leaves off of driveways, and then I ended up working delivering pizza for Domino's. Every single job that I had, I ended up walking out of it. I just quit. I knew that I was destined for more, but I didn't know how to get there, and I didn't know what I was going to do. But one thing was for certain, I hated the position that I was in. During this time, there were many distractions in life, going out partying, living for the weekend, because when you're in a 9-to-5 job and you're doing jobs in society that aren't mentally stimulating, you need to find that stimulation elsewhere. And a lot of these stimulations turn into bad habits that can completely ruin your life. Going out frequently, getting your dopamine hits for the parties in the weekend, getting your dopamine hits from girls and distractions that aren't going to get you anywhere. And during this time, I was in the worst physical and mental shape of my life, and I can definitely say that I was depressed during this time. And that is when I realized that no one was going to save me apart from myself. So in 6 months after I quit my Domino's delivery job, I made it happen. My name's Callum Raymond, and in just under a year, I went from being in the worst shape of my life, not just physically, but financially and mentally, dead broke, to becoming one of the biggest online fitness coaches in the world, having one of the biggest online fitness coaching businesses in the world, making multiple 6 figures online just from my phone, and achieving things such as having my own billboard in Times Square, New York City, and many more things that I've managed to do. My following now is close to 1 million on all social media platforms, and I want to show you in this video the 3 things and tell you the 3 things that you can do right now to do the same thing that I did. And I'm not going to gatekeep anything. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. I'm going to keep this raw. I've even got my laptop right here to remind me of the notes that I want to tell you so I don't miss anything. And I just want to be completely transparent about my whole journey so far and tell you the 3 things that I did. Now, this is not going to be the final video that I make on this topic. In fact, I'm going to be dropping a bunch of information and a bunch of knowledge that you won't find anywhere else, because I am the one who did this myself, as I'm going to explain. And so this all comes from my own personal experience, nowhere else. So you won't find a lot of this information anywhere, because the truth is, there's not just one way to do this. There's multiple ways. There's multiple ways to become a professional athlete, right? Some people get scouted, some people, train their ass off and go to different cities to get recognized, right? It happens differently for everyone. And so if there's someone telling you there's only one way to do it, they're wrong. This is the way that I did, and I believe this is the best way to do it. I'm gonna be posting videos every single week, every single day nearly, or maybe not every day, that might be a bit of a struggle, but I'll try my best to get you guys as much content as possible out there, explaining you not just the motivational side of doing this, but the technical side as well. So you understand exactly the processes and systems that I used to get to this position where I can work from anywhere in the world, not have to clock into a job, not get told what to do by a boss, and be in the best physical shape of my life whilst doing so, and the best mental shape of my life, not to mention the financial benefits. So, without further ado, let's go straight into, got a bit of an itchy nose, everything that I want to talk to you about today. Yeah, after my school period, I didn't know what I was doing, fell into loads of different jobs that I hated, and just walked out of every single one. I didn't get fired, technically, but I just walked out. I just couldn't stand it anymore, and I knew I needed to do something different. But fast forward, I realized that there was a lot of people making money online, and I just threw myself in the deep end. I bought so many different mentorships, programs, trying to figure out exactly how these people were doing things. There was even one point where I signed up for something where I was getting emails every single day about hashtags that I could use for TikTok videos in order to go viral. Fast forward, eventually after investing in these things, I did go viral. And that's what allowed me to take the jump to finally quit my part-time shifts that I was doing at Domino's. And I put everything into it, all my money, all my time, all my effort, because I didn't want to sit there and think to myself that I didn't put everything in that I could have done and then I regret it later down the line. That is definitely not what I wanted to do, right? So I knew I had to put everything into it, and I did, and it paid off, but not how you would expect to. A lot of people think that if you just go viral, you start making a lot of money, you get a lot of collabs, brands pay you. That's not exactly how it works, because the brands don't want to pay you a lot of money to begin with, right? They want to pay you as little as possible. Usually it's through like an affiliate code that you can use, and they get the majority of the money. It works better for them because the businesses in the fitness industry, they don't really care about you. They just want to make the most money possible. And why should they? I don't blame them. Who blames them, right? I'm sure you would do the same if it was your business. But what I'm trying to say is that it's not all sunshine and rainbows once you go viral. I had 100K followers on TikTok within the first 6 months of me posting. I had over 100K on Instagram within the first 6 months as well. And I wasn't making any money from it. I was making maybe $1,000 a month if I was lucky. And it was horrible, right? One of the worst things you can have is a lot of fame, but no money. One of the worst things. I got recognized in the street, but I was making barely anything. And then I realized I had to do something different. And that is when I found online fitness coaching. This was something that I didn't even know existed. Essentially, charging high ticket prices for fitness coaching. Now, I didn't start off by doing that. The first thing I did was find a few clients that I could sell to that was nowhere near the high ticket prices that I want to sell, like a couple thousand. It was more like a couple of hundred, if that. I think the first client I ever signed was about $90 a month, so really nothing. And through that, it made me realize that I could charge more if I developed my program even further and made it actually seem worth it to invest a lot of money into a program. And so what I did, I made my program better. I didn't just have a program that I was changing each week. I was making little tweaks every day. I was offering calls every single week, sometimes multiple times a week with my clients. I eventually hired other coaches so they could also invest their time into helping them with their expertise. I also added more of a nutrition and diet plan in there. Everything you can think of. I also gave my clients a gift, right, to make my service stand out from everyone else's. My fulfillment went up, my results increased, and then I was able to use that and promote it on social media as well. And then everything else followed suit. I carried on building my systems. I carried on making it easier for me to put time into building my business rather than being stuck in my business. That's a massive problem that a lot of PTs face, and a lot of people that are trying to start online coaching face. They're not being stuck in their business and they can't work on the business. They're working in the business, which is not what you want. Of course, you have to put in the legwork to work in your business first, but there has to be a point when you get out of it. And that's the position that I find myself in now, through a lot of hard work and making sure that I have the systems in place in order to do that, to save me time. That is the key. But ultimately what I'm trying to say is that you don't need to have a lot of followers to make a lot of money. I got told by someone that I knew in the online space that there was a guy that had barely a tenth of the following that I did, maybe 8,000 followers, 10,000 followers, and even some guys that are on a couple thousand followers that were making 10K a month. And that made me so angry because I had over 100,000 and I couldn't believe that these guys were making that much. And I just thought to myself, how is that even possible? But I realized that it's not about how many followers you have. It's about how many people that follow you relate and understand and want your service. Because if they want it bad and it's built for them and you're focusing on a particular niche within helping people, then you're speaking directly to the person that you want to help. And so why are they going to look for anyone else apart from you, even if someone does have a big following? Because someone could have a big following with a program that's just built for fat loss, but maybe they want to gain muscle. But if you have a couple thousand followers compared to someone that has a couple 100,000 followers, you're going to stand out to that person. And that's why these people were making so much money. And that's how these people were able to stand out from these big creators, because they didn't need a lot of followers. They just needed an offer and a service that spoke directly to the person that they wanted to help. That is the biggest thing that you can do, the biggest thing that I realized when I started. Well, not when I started, definitely not. But as I actually started to look at online fitness coaching and selling high ticket programs, that is what I realized. So I ended up studying DMs, how to DM people, how to message people, how to get them to book in calls. I ended up tweaking my content strategy to not just go viral, but to make sure that I was speaking directly to the person that I wanted to help, so that they felt they were being helped one-to-one rather than just generic content that speaks to everyone. That's usually what viral videos are for. I was an expert at making viral videos, but I wasn't an expert at speaking directly to the audience that I wanted to help, obviously, until this day. And I realized that those things are key, because if you can speak directly to the person you want to help through content, you can talk to them on Instagram DMs or any other platform and help them through there to be not only obviously satisfied with your help by messaging, but to also convince them and interest them in a call with you. Then you can explain your service in even more detail and charge higher prices, because they're going to understand it more. And that's also where sales calls come in as well, and sales. You need to be good at sales as well. You need to be able to communicate not only through your content, not only through the DMs, but also on a call one-to-one with them, exactly how your program is going to help them specifically. That is also key. And if you can tie all those things in together, have the variation in content, know how to DM people effectively, and to also make sure that you know how to communicate in person, talking very, very well, you're going to make a lot of money online. You're going to do very well for yourself if you've got those three things in place. Now, of course, if you just have them and you don't have any system set up, it's going to take up a lot of your time. Yes, you're going to make a lot of money, but you're still going to be trapped in the business rather than working on the business like we talked about. So what are you going to do? You're going to reinvest your money that you make into other people that are going to help you out in your business, whether that's someone helping with automations, someone helping with DMs, someone helping with editing your videos or scripting your videos, or just overall strategy with the videos in general, or maybe even someone taking your course for you. All these things can be done to reinvest back in your business, not just in a marketing way, but in a fulfillment way as well. You can even invest in coaches that can level up your client's experience so that they're going to want to pay more for the service because they're seeing the results and they're enjoying it so much. There are so many different avenues that you can go down, but ultimately you need to have these all together, and you need to improve these things when the time is right. Don't get too ahead of yourself. You need to understand the fundamentals of this space and how to actually navigate it properly. Because that way you're going to know if someone does come into your team, if someone does come in to help you with your business, you're going to know how to do that because you did it yourself. And you're going to be able to teach them and improve them whilst also simultaneously improving your business. That is very, very important. Of course, there are so many systems that you guys can use. There's so many guys online that are promoting help with scaling an online fitness coaching business. But like I said before, there are many different ways you can do it. There's not a one size fits all. There's so many different ways, and something that might work for someone else might not work for you, and vice versa, right? But yeah, that is one of the things that I wanted to go through. And I also want to talk about what I do now as well to stand out really in this space. And the best thing to do, like I said, is to position yourself effectively with the content. And to make sure that there is variation in the content as well. You need to have top of funnel content, middle of funnel content, bottom of funnel content. Top of funnel is going to be things that are going to get you viral, going to get you eyeballs. Middle of funnel is going to be things teaching more about your specific processes. Could even be testimonials and how you've helped someone. And then bottom of funnel content is going to be adding a CTA in there in some clever way to book people into calls. This can even be done through Instagram stories, for example. So there are so many different things that you need to think about, even just within content, that's going to be important for you to scale your online fitness coaching business, or just to start an online fitness coaching business if you're starting from zero. It's possible for anyone to do it, whether you're starting from zero like I did, or you're already doing it, but you're stuck spinning your wheels. You don't really know where to go, what to do. There's so many different ways to do it. Obviously, you're going to need to attract the right leads by speaking to their pain and their specific struggles. And you're going to want to make sure that you're not just focusing on the features of the program, but you're focusing on what they're struggling with, right? And their goals. That is important. Obviously, like I said, you need to learn how to sell in the DMs. You need to learn how to sell on calls. You don't sell with pressure ever. You always ask for permission first, and that is done very subtly through different things that you can say on sales scripts, or obviously if you learn your sales scripts and you become really good at it, it's going to be easy for you, right? You don't just say to someone, okay, we're going to have to pay now. No, you ask if they're happy with everything, if they understand everything, and then you ask them if they would want to move forward today, right? That's a basic thing, but there are so many different ways you can go about it, so many different strategies and techniques that you can use yourself. Obviously, you need to learn how to close on the calls. You need to work on people's mindset, because everyone has a different mindset, especially about fitness. Everyone's had a different journey. So you really need to understand people to a good level, and you need to be offering clarity with them as well to know that what you're offering is going to help them. And obviously, one of the most important things that you need to do is work on your fulfillment, getting results, posting the results at every opportunity, whether that's a message, whether that is a video testimonial, a transformation picture. Either of those things are going to give you social proof to show that your service and your offer does work. The more you have, the easier it's going to get. That's why I started by just charging minimal prices for clients, and even coaching some people for free, even friends and family members, because I knew that if I transformed a few people and showed other people that, they were going to be more interested, because they can see that it does work, right? That is going to be very, very important. If you don't have any friends, you don't have any family members, and you can't for some reason even get people to try a free program, which is pretty crazy, the best testimonial that you can have is yourself. If you transform yourself, which is what I did as well, going from skinny to bulking up and then cutting down to being in the best shape of my life, that is one of the main testimonials and results that are going to show people you know what you're talking about. So if you can do that and help other people, you're in a crazy zone right there, where you can start charging crazy prices and really elevating your service to a high level and marketing it really, really well. But if you are someone who is not really in shape, but you can help people, you're still going to do well, but maybe not as well as you could. You don't have to be in the best shape possible. You just have to show that within your offer, you know what you're talking about, and you have the physique that you're talking about within your offer, right? So if you're offering maybe a program or a service about mobility, obviously your mobility is going to have to be good. If it's more about fat loss, you're going to want to be at a low body fat percentage. If you're talking about bulking up, bulk up more. Or if you want to be a hybrid athlete and do the hybrid method, which is my program, you want to be multifunctional and be able to do loads of different things, which is how I did my program and thought about my program. But your program can be completely unique, and you can think about the main attributes and benefits and advantages that you have in yourself to create that program, to make content around it, so that not only does it speak to the person that you want to help, and they can look at you and want your physique that you have and want the skills that you might possess, but it's also going to carry you along further, because you're going to enjoy what you're doing, which is very, very key. I would not have got to this position if I didn't enjoy what I was doing. I love training in loads of different styles, and I made that into a program. It was easy for me to make content on that pretty much every single week, every day, and it enabled me to get to where I am now, obviously with the systems and the skills that I've learned along the way. But that is going to be the fundamental part of this. So keep that in mind. And obviously you're going to want to learn how to scale, right? That is going to be key. And that's just going to be done through leveraging the client results and the proof that you have, as well as the consistency. If you're not consistent with this, you're never going to go anywhere. But if people are seeing your face literally everywhere, you're posting multiple times a day on all social media platforms, you're going to gain that momentum. People are going to recognize you more. You're going to have way more chance in going viral. You're going to have way more chance in speaking directly to the person that you want to help, because the more you post, the more views you're just going to get, the more potential people could be interested in you, buy into you and your program, and then eventually pay you for it. That's going to be very, very important as well. So I would say the biggest thing is building trust through the content, to summarize all of this, and making people want to book in a call with you to learn more. That is really the fundamentals of everything. So You might be thinking, okay, well, I don't really have much experience within, this whole game, but you don't need to. Whether you're a PT, whether you're a content creator right now, or someone who just knows that they're not meant for the 9 to 5 and they want to build their own business and make their own hours and build something for themselves, this is for you. This is for people who want to do it properly, for people who want to spend time learning skills that are going to help them forever throughout the rest of their life in anything that they do, and have control ultimately over their own time and their schedule. That's really going to be key. You don't need a degree, you don't even need an audience, you don't need a six-pack like I've even said through this video. You just need a strategy that is going to work for you. Everyone's strategy could be different depending on what their goal is. As I said before, there's not going to be a one-size-fits-all. I'm never going to promote some sort of program or service where it's going to be built for absolutely everyone, because it's not. There are some people that I jump on calls with in my fitness coaching business where they're just not qualified to even participate. Maybe they have underlying health conditions that I know I can't help out with. Maybe they have a disability. Maybe they just don't have the right mindset. If that's the case, you know that they're not going to be built for your program and you can't help them. Same thing with this as well. I can't speak to absolutely every person, but I can speak to a certain type of individual who knows that they're destined for more, who knows that they can be better in what they're doing, and who has a passion for fitness and has a passion for coaching. If you have that, that is all you need. Everything else is just noise. If you have the right strategy for yourself personally, you can go so far, and everyone's different. You just have to work that out either on your own or with some help. Okay, and it's going to take time, it's going to take dedication, it's going to take consistency, but you are going to get there. If you learn the skills and you know exactly what to do, you have a strategy in place to get there, that works and is proven to work, there's no reason why you won't be successful within this, okay? Absolutely not. So I think ultimately what I was going to say to kind of summarize everything is that there are so many things that you need to learn and develop on in terms of the skills that you need to gain within this industry and within scaling your business online. But anyone can do it. Anyone. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I don't have a doctorate, but I managed to do it. And if I can do it, then you can definitely do it. I'm from a random place in the UK, right? You might be from a random place in another country, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. If you have this thing, a phone, if you have an internet connection, if you have Wi-Fi, if you have a camera on your phone, you can do it. There's nothing stopping you but yourself. Mindset is one of the most important things that you need to change to believe that you can do it. You need to invest in things that you think are going to help you get to a higher level from people that are doing better than you. And once you do those things, you're not only going to learn skills along the way, but you're going to learn experience, you're going to gain experience, I should say, and you're going to gain momentum that's going to push you further. You're going to collect results, you're going to collect testimonials, you're going to use them in your content. You're going to know how to make content better. You're going to know how to close people better. You're going to know how to communicate your offer and yourself better. You're going to make people believe and buy into you as a person, not just your program. And that is what is going to make you successful in this. What I will say now is that I have a form in the description down below to see if you would be qualified to work with me one-to-one to get you to where I am now. Like I said, it's not going to be for everyone. It's not a one-size-fits-all program. It's built individually for people. But if this is something that you are interested in, if you see the opportunity that's in front of you, if you understand and recognize that the life you have right now isn't what you want, and you know that you need to start today to take action on the things that you want in life, then this form might be for you, and this could change your life. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave the form down below, the link to the form. You can fill it out, you can take a look, you can watch the video on there as well of the step-by-step way that I managed to scale from 0 to 20, 30K months, and even a 50K month in the space of just a year. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I'm sure you're not going to want to miss it. So make sure that you subscribe for that, and I'll see you soon.